I feel very happy to be here to participate in the centenary celebrations of ACPR. I thank ACPR members for giving me this opportunity to make my presentation. The topic of my presentation is Gurudev Ranade's views on Gnanesvara's contribution. Gnanesvara's contribution to mysticism and his mystic ways. Now let us start with what are the criteria for the reality of mystical experience as per Gurudev Ranade. They are universality, then intellectual accurate thought, supreme emotional nature, moral development, and the mystic's life as an embodiment of absolute right, goodness, virtue. Now Evelyn Underhill, she has said that there are 5 stages in the mystic ways of all the mystics in the world. These stages are, during the first stage, there is an awakening. The second stage is illuminated life. The third stage is illumination of mind. And the fourth stage is the dark night of the soul. And finally, the mystic's union with the object of love, that is God. What is awakening? In the awakening, there is a decisive event in a mystic's life towards transcendental consciousness. The equilibrium of his normal routine life is disturbed. He goes to a higher level of consciousness. What is illuminated life? It is the second stage where there is a bodily purification of desires. Vairagya, detachment from the material world takes place. The third stage is illumination of mind. Here, the heightened vision of reality takes place in mystic's life. The mystical illumination, the epic poet like Sri Gnanesvara could translate for the benefit of masses, and by citing the innumerable examples. Now we come to the topic of the present lecture, which is the dark night of the soul. This is the fourth stage. In this fourth stage, there the mystic, who has already made a lot of progress in the way, he suddenly finds that his once possessed power of prayer to a deity or contemplation is suddenly swept away, and he is as if lost, and he has to rely on his past achievements only. This is the stage which is full of misery, full of grief, full of sorrow. And finally the fifth stage, which is the union with the object of love, which is the permanent and perfect marriage or spiritual marriage with the soul. Now what Gurudev Ranade, he said about the dark night of the soul. He observed that in Sri Gnanesvara's life there is no trace of this fourth stage, as can be seen from his main philosophical work, Gnanesvari. And he also observed that the trace can be found only in some of his abhangas. My view is that this evidence of dark night of the soul could be found in the 6th chapter of Gnanesvari in at least many verses, about 50 to 70 verses. And for this, first of all, what is the 6th chapter of Gnanesvari? The 6th chapter of Gnanesvari is related to the awakening of the Kundalini Shakti through tantric ways and yogic processes. Now let us find out, let us define what is the Kundalini Shakti. Srimad Shankaracharya in Prapanchasar Tantra, he has defined the Kundalini Shakti as Antarantaha Bahishchaiva Dehinam Deha Purani Swaswarupa Samvedya Sadrushya Deshikaha Darshitaihi. This Kundalini Shakti is sarvavyapi, it is inside and out of our body and in every object of the universe. He also said that Kundalini is nothing but Prakrutihi Nishchala परावाक शक्ती प्रणवात्मिका Kundalini Shakti. It is of the nature of Paravak, Shabda Brahma, and it is in our talk, it is in our action, it is in our thinking, it is everywhere. And in the Rigveda also, there is a prayer that Agne Naya Supata Rahe. O Agni, take us with us to the correct path of Sushumna and towards the Sahasrar Chakra. Now the Gnanesvara, Sri Gnanesvara, at the end of the realization of God realization through Kundalini Shakti, he found out that his experience he has expressed in his OV, which is Eka Vastu Samarthya Shakti Navalakayi Nyatru Neya Vihina Nusat Teji Jnana. It is of the nature of Nyatru Neya Vihina. There is no Nyata, no Neya, it is only that Jnana. Bhokta, Bhoktru Vihina, Jnana. Now here the Vastu is Brahma and Samarthya Shakti is Kundalini. And Gurudev Ranade has also expressed this final stage of Kundalini Shakti as Shabda, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha, Sparsha, Vihina, Ananda, which is called Nirvishaya Ananda. Now let us go to some of the verses which describe this experience of Sri Gnanesvara as in the dark night of the soul. Kalpana nime pravrutti shame anga mana virame saviyachi. There is a progress of the Kundalini Shakti from the Muladhara Chakra to the Sahasrar Chakra, the sadhaka experiences, his mind is withdrawn, his pravrutti also dies down, and he feels the physical, mental and spiritual agony. And this agony has been of the physical nature as well. It has been said as the Dhatunse Samudra Ulandi, Medache Parvata Fadi, Atali Majja Kadi Astigata. Mukhicha Jwai, Kaivar Kavai, Masanchi Vadavai Arogu Lage. They describe the hardship felt by the sadhaka inside of his body, mental and physical. Because the Kundalini is of the nature of Agni in 13 kalas. Sri Gnanesvara has described the Kundalini as Vidyullatechi Vidi, the fire, the lightning. Vandhi Jayanchi Ghadi, it is the folding of flaming fire. Bandhareyachi Chokhadi, it is of the solid bar of gold. With this, definitely the sadhaka experiences some discomfort, to say. Now Shivaji Bhave is the elder brother of Acharya Vinoba Bhave. He has also found out one more verse in Gnaneswari stating that Sri Gnanesvara has expressed his agony of the fourth stage. In the verse Unmatte Jage, as creatures living in the water are not afraid of the sea or the sea afraid of them, so man is not distressed by the pleasure-loving world. This Unmatte Jage is nothing but one of the 6 vikar of Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, etc. These are the 2 evidences in Gnaneswari. Now we go to the second part of my presentation is Gurudev Ranade's views on Gnanesvara. Gurudev Ranade said that Gnanesvara's greatest contribution has been the perfect reconciliation of Advaita with Bhakti. And Advaita with Bhakti. And this, he also said that there are 4 ways: Dhyana, Karma, Bhakti and Jnana. They are equally good towards the God realization. Gnanesvara, how he identified or reconciled Bhakti with Advaita. That we will see later on. Before that we will see the experience. Gurudev Ranade also said the experience of Gnanesvara with Tauler is almost identical when he has experienced the final God realization of the final stage of God realization. And that he has said that these are expressed in these 2. जे पाहिजते नवीन पाहिजे काही नेणनाजी जाणजे आद्य पुरुष का म्हणीजे ज्या ठायाते. Means one sees oneself and experiences the God. Now, this God realization, the key concept as Gurudev Ranade said about Gnanesvara is Bimba and Pratibimba. If there is a mirror, there will be a Pratibimba of my face, Mukha. As the mirror is set aside, it will take with that action, the drushti or my seeing of my face. And that also goes away. And that is with the Ajnana, Jnana also goes away. Similarly, for any relationship in this world, maybe between my husband and a wife, this Vakta and Shrota, if the Shrota is set aside, it takes with him the action of the Shrotrutva also, and only the Vakta remains. And when the Vakta remains, the sadhaka, mystic, has to only feel his mukha or the body in its purest, bare minimum form. This is what we call Naishkarmya Siddhi, where no action, only the Nishkriya Jnana remains. Then Gnanesvara, Sri Gnanesvara is described in so many verses, the Ajnani and Jnani Purush, how they are and what are their behavior. I will read out only one. जो अखंड भोगाचे जया व्यसन काम्य क्रियेचे मुख देखोनी विरक्ताचे सचैल करी. Means he is totally absorbed in the material world. He wants to enjoy more. In every sense. Then he has described about the anakrosha kshama, which is one of the chief characteristics of the jnani. When jnani. Now, next we go to the Gurudev Ranade's translation or view, the reconciliation of Advaita and Bhakti. Now, Sri Gnanesvara and all other saints found out that any man, his main basic instinct is to love, affection, togetherness, and these instincts they converted into bhakti towards God. In the form of, it may be a Balak Bhakti, Kanta Bhakti, it may be Sakhya Bhakti, Atma Nivedan Bhakti. And all his actions are devoted to God. All his thoughts are devoted to God. So any ordinary man during his course of life can transform his unnayan, his emotions to bhakti. And final stage of the bhakti is Je bhete bhut tete maniche bhagwant. Ha bhakti yogu nishchit jana maza. Means finally any ordinary man can seize the Bhagavanta in all his actions and all people in the world, and he becomes one. That is the Advaita. This is the reconciliation of Advaita and Bhakti. Now we come to contribution of Gurudev Ranade to society today. Just like Sri Gnanesvara in 13th century found out a way for the masses in terms of Bhakti, Gurudev Ranade also prescribed or outlined a way in 5 stages to achieve the spiritual goal. Now, these stages are causes for inclination to spirituality, then acquiring good moral values, relation of God to saints, beginnings of pilgrimage and highest ascent. He also wrote many reference books which describe the mystical experiences of Gnanesvara as Gnaneswar Vachanamrut, Ramdas Vachanamrut and Tukaram Vachanamrut. Now we will stage is 5 stages of Gurudev Ranade. In the first stage, anybody, any student or any young man, he should read psychology or philosophy, and so that he will be inclined towards spirituality slowly. In the second stage, he will acquire personal values and spiritual values, which are in the traditional way called Yama and Niyama. In the third stage, there will be understanding of relation of God to Sadguru. Now, Sri Gurudev Ranade has translated this complex relationship between Saguna, Nirguna, Rupa and Nama, and he came to a conclusion that Nama is the best of all. and only jnana or only bhakti will not be sufficient. Then the final stage there will be a belief that one can realize the God. Now, first I will summarize. There is some evidence of in Gnanesvara about the dark night of the soul. Then second part about Gurudev Ranade's views on the Gnanesvara. Third part is Gurudev Ranade's contribution to the society. In this, personally, for the students and teachers who are here, I would like to share that when I was a student, there was full of uncertainty, there full of problems of adjustment, future direction, and I started slowly reading some psychological books and slowly developed an inclination towards it. So many years went by, and then in 1995, I took to what Gurudev Ranade, Sri Gurudev Ranade suggests to Namasmaran. Slowly I progressed, but it is simultaneously and side by side with our central goal of having a good job, a good wife, and earn a decent living, for decent living. So my sharing of experience to you from my experience is that one can practice these things simultaneously, side by side. There are many hardships. People may not like you. People may criticize you. People may say that why he is acting in so and so manner. But ultimately, as Sri Gurudev Ranade says, it will lead to Atmananda and Parashanti. And Atmananda is the only feeling, highest feeling, which is Unnayankari, and Parashanti is stabilizing, Sthira and Samtol. It will destroy, then your feeling of despair, which is Avanayankari, will vanish. And I recollect after 17 years, when I could not make any progress by adopting to these methods of meditation, suddenly, when I retired 15 years back, I could make some progress in this direction. So the patience, the faith, and the ability to sustain I definitely will take all the students and teachers especially on the path of Sri Gurudev to get the divine calmness and peace in their life. Thank you.